Can you clean this up fast? The smell is making me sick.
I'm cleaning it, ma'am.
Not fast enough.
Can you clean this up fast? The smell is making me sick. Evelyn Washington was on her knees on the floor of the emergency waiting room at Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, scrubbing the vomit a drunk patient had left 20 minutes earlier. It was 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Her shift had ended at 10, but when the ER called, she stayed. She always stayed. 32 years of doing this. She looked up at the white woman sitting 3 chairs ahead. Mid-40s, expensive clothes, a designer purse on her lap, a look of disgust on her face. "I'm cleaning it, ma'am," Evelyn said, with the calm voice that came from decades of dealing with stressed patients. "Not fast enough," the woman said, glancing at the friends who had just arrived. "And don't call me ma'am. I have a name. Catherine." Evelyn went back to scrubbing. The bleach burned her eyes. Her knees ached against the cold floor. 68 years old and still on her knees, cleaning strangers' vomit. "Oh my God, Catherine," Jennifer said, sitting beside her. "What happened? I got your message saying you were at the hospital." "It was a minor car accident," Catherine said in a dramatic tone. "A side collision. Nothing serious, but the doctor wants an X-ray to make sure I don't have any cracked ribs. I've been waiting for an hour." "An hour?" Amanda arrived with Rebecca right behind her. "That's ridiculous." "Welcome to the public healthcare system," Catherine said sarcastically. "Where you wait forever and get treated by—" She looked at Evelyn, still cleaning. "This kind of professional." The 3 friends looked at Evelyn. Then they looked at Catherine. None of them said anything, but the discomfort was visible. Evelyn finished cleaning, picked up the bucket and the mop, and stood up with effort. Her knees cracked, her back protested. But she didn't complain. She never complained. She walked toward the utility room to empty the bucket. She passed by Catherine, and as she turned, a drop, a single drop, of cleaning water splashed onto the leather purse on Catherine's lap. The scream was instant. "You got my bag wet!" Evelyn stopped, looked, saw a tiny drop on the brown leather. "I'm sorry, ma'am. It was an accident. Let me clean it." "Don't touch it!" Catherine pulled the bag away, as if Evelyn had some contagious disease. "You've done enough damage already." "Catherine," Jennifer said, uncomfortable. "It was just a drop of water." "A drop on a $3,000 bag," Catherine exploded, "because of total incompetence." Evelyn stood there, holding the bucket, dirty water dripping onto the floor. Decades of experience had taught her. Don't respond, don't react, just accept it. Apologize. Leave. "I'm sorry," Evelyn repeated. "I'll be more careful." She turned to leave. "Wait," Catherine said, her tone different now. Curious. Cruel. Evelyn stopped. "That on your neck," Catherine continued, pointing, "is that real gold or cheap costume jewelry?" Evelyn instinctively touched the necklace, a protective gesture. It was a reflex when she felt threatened. The necklace was a thin gold chain with an oval pendant. Simple, delicate, priceless beyond measure. "It was a gift from my daughter," Evelyn said softly. Catherine laughed. It wasn't a polite laugh. It was a mocking one. "A cleaning lady's daughter giving gold?" Catherine said. "She must make good money, or—" She paused meaningfully. "It's fake. Probably fake." "It's not fake," Evelyn said, with a dignity that refused to break. "She saved for months to give it to me for Mother's Day." "Of course she did," Catherine said, standing up now. "Let me see." "You don't have to," Evelyn started, but Catherine was already reaching for the necklace. "I said, let me see." Her hands grabbed the necklace. She pulled. The chain was delicate, old, not made to resist. It broke with a small metallic sound. "No!" Evelyn screamed, dropping the bucket. Dirty water spread across the floor, but it didn't matter. "Please, my necklace!" Catherine was holding the necklace in her hand now, examining it under the hospital's fluorescent light. She opened the oval pendant. Inside, there was a tiny photo. 3 people: an older woman, a younger woman, a boy. "A cleaning lady's family with gold," Catherine commented to her friends, who looked horrified. "It has to be fake. Or—" She looked at Evelyn with narrowed eyes. "You stole it. Is that it? Stole it from some patient?" "I didn't steal anything," Evelyn said, her voice breaking now. "My daughter gave it to me. She died. It's all I have left of her." "She died," Catherine repeated, without emotion. "How convenient. Dead people can't confirm stories." She looked at the pendant again, at the photo, then at the hospital trash beside her, a large red bin labeled biohazard. And with a casual motion, like tossing a crumpled piece of paper, she threw the necklace inside. The world stopped for Evelyn. She saw the necklace, the gold shining, falling in slow motion into the red bin, falling onto used gloves, syringes, gauze, everything contaminated with bodily fluids from dozens of patients. "No!" Evelyn ran to the bin. "Evelyn!" Nurse Lisa Chen was passing by and saw it. "What are you doing?" "My necklace," Evelyn said, already reaching into the bin. "She threw my necklace." "Evelyn!" Lisa pulled her hand back. "You can't touch that without gloves. It's contaminated biohazard waste. HIV, hepatitis, everything goes in there." "But my necklace—" Evelyn was crying now. "My daughter, Sarah, it's all I have." Lisa looked at Catherine, who was already sitting back down, without a trace of remorse. "Who threw that in there?" Lisa asked, anger rising in her voice. "It was an accident," Catherine replied, not even looking. "It fell." "Liar!" The voice came from the corner. A boy around 18 stood near the vending machine. Black, tall, and thin. "I saw it. You took it from my grandmother and threw it in the trash." "I am," Rebecca said, standing up. "I'm O-negative." "Me too," Amanda said. "I can donate." "I'm a positive," Jennifer said, "but I can call my husband. He's O-negative." "Great," Dr. Peterson said. "Let's collect, but we may need more. O-negative is rare. If you know anyone else?" "I'll call everyone I know," Jennifer promised, already pulling out her phone. Evelyn was in the corner of the waiting room, still in her janitor's uniform, still holding the broken pieces of the necklace in a plastic bag Lisa had given her. Marcus stood beside her. She heard everything. She heard about the need for blood, about the rare type, about the woman who had humiliated her now dying. And she felt a pull. Not from obligation, but from something deeper. Something her daughter Sarah had taught her. Marcus grabbed her arm when he saw Evelyn move. "Grandma, no," Marcus said softly but firmly. "She hurt you." "I know, baby." "She threw Mom's necklace in the trash. She disrespected her memory. And you're going to help?" Evelyn looked at her grandson, 12 years old, eyes filled with tears of anger, of injustice, of confusion about why the world was like this. "Marcus," Evelyn said, kneeling to meet his eyes, "do you remember what your mother used to say?" "That you have to do what's right," Marcus said, his voice breaking. "Not just that," Evelyn said. "She used to say, 'Mom, doing the right thing when it's easy doesn't count. Anyone can do that. Doing the right thing when it hurts, when the person doesn't deserve it, when everything in you is screaming not to, that's when it shows who you really are.'" "But Grandma, she doesn't deserve it." "No," Evelyn agreed. She doesn't. But she deserves to live, and I can help. So I should. What if she doesn't learn? What if she keeps being awful? Then at least I know I did what was right, Evelyn said. And you'll know. And your mother, wherever she is, will know. And that has to be enough. Marcus hugged his grandmother tightly. I wish Mom were here, Marcus whispered. Me too, baby, me too. Evelyn stood up and walked toward Dr. Peterson. Dr. Peterson, Evelyn said. The doctor turned, recognized her immediately. Evelyn, what do you need? I heard you need donors. O negative. Yes. Do you know anyone? I can donate. The doctor blinked. You? Evelyn, do you know the patient? I do, Evelyn said, her voice neutral. But that doesn't matter. I heard you need blood. And I have a compatible type. You're O negative? Dr. Peterson asked, surprised. Not exactly, Evelyn said. I have an even rarer type, Rh null, but it's universal, compatible with everyone. Dr. Peterson froze completely. Rh null? Evelyn, are you sure? I am, Evelyn said, pulling a small card from her worn wallet. It was a blood donor card. Red, with medical information. Dr. Peterson took it. Read it. His eyes widened. Evelyn Washington. Blood type, Rh null, golden blood. Rare universal donor. My God, Dr. Peterson whispered. Evelyn, you have golden blood. Do you know how rare that is? I do, Evelyn said. I found out when my daughter was sick. Leukemia. She needed a bone marrow donor. They ran compatibility tests. That's when they discovered I had Rh null. They said only 43 people in the world have it. 42 now, Dr. Peterson said, still in shock. A patient in Norway with Rh null died last month. It was published in medical journals. You are literally one of the rarest people on the planet. He looked at her. Really looked. Saw a 68-year-old woman in a janitor's uniform. A woman he had seen every day for 32 years, but had never truly seen. Evelyn, do you know who the patient is? I do. And you still want to donate? Yes. Even after what she did? Especially after, Evelyn said. Because if I only do what's right when it's easy, then I'm not really doing what's right. I'm just doing what's convenient. Dr. Peterson nodded slowly, placed a hand on her shoulder. You're a better person than I am, Evelyn, he said. Much better than most. Evelyn was taken to the donation room. Marcus followed, holding her hand. Meanwhile, Rebecca and Amanda were already donating blood. Jennifer had managed to get 3 more donors, her husband, her brother, and a friend. 6 donors in total. 7 with Evelyn. Dr. Peterson personally supervised Evelyn's donation. This will cost you, Evelyn, he said, as the needle went in. Raw null blood is so rare we prefer to preserve it. You could be saving this unit for an even greater emergency. This is a life-threatening emergency, Evelyn said. She's dying. She publicly humiliated you, destroyed your most precious possession, treated you like trash. And she's still a human being, Evelyn said simply. And human beings deserve to live, even the terrible ones. The blood flowed, dark red, priceless beyond measure. Marcus watched his grandmother's blood filling the bag. Blood that could save dozens of people in the world because it was so rare. Blood that was being given to save someone who had been cruel. Grandma, Marcus said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Evelyn smiled, despite the dizziness. No, baby. I want you to be better. I want you to live in a world where you don't have to make choices like this. But until that world comes, yes, be like me. Be like your mother. Panic began to form in Catherine's eyes. So, what? Am I going to die? We have a sample that's compatible, Dr. Peterson said. Perfectly compatible. The only one that worked out of all 7 tested. A visible wave of relief washed over Catherine's face. Thank God. Whose is it? The doctor paused, just for a heartbeat. But even in her weakened state, Catherine noticed. Whose is it, doctor? Evelyn Washington's. The name hung in the air like an accusation. Catherine blinked, processing through the haze. The janitor? That woman? Yes. She volunteered to donate. She has an extremely rare blood type, Rh null, called golden blood. Only 42 people in the entire world have it. It's compatible with anyone, including you. Catherine was processing, fighting the medication, the pain, the reality she didn't want to accept. I don't want it, Catherine said, her voice weak but determined. Excuse me? I don't want her blood, Catherine said, trying to sound stronger. That dirty woman, she probably has diseases. Who knows where she's been? All donated blood is rigorously tested, Dr. Peterson said, his voice growing colder. HIV, hepatitis, syphilis, everything. Her blood passed every test. It's cleaner than yours, I assure you. I don't want it, Catherine insisted, with desperate force. Only from my friends, not from that. She didn't finish, but the word hung clearly between them. Dr. Peterson looked at her, and for the first time in 30 years of medicine, he felt not compassion, but something close to disgust toward his patient. Mrs. Morrison, I'm going to be absolutely clear, Dr. Peterson said, his voice sharp as a scalpel. Your friend's blood caused rejection reactions, all 6 samples. The Atlanta Blood Bank has no O-negative available. Yesterday's bus accident depleted the supply. Even if we could get blood from another hospital with your specific antibodies, it would likely be incompatible as well. He paused, letting the weight settle. Evelyn Washington's blood is literally the only option. It's that or death. The choice is yours. But I need an answer within the next 5 minutes, because that's how long you have left. Catherine closed her eyes. Tears slipped from the corners. Not tears of physical pain. Tears of humiliation, of anger, of being forced to depend on someone she had despised. Will people know? Catherine asked, her voice breaking. If I accept, will they know whose it was? Dr. Peterson looked at her with an expression that mixed pity and disgust. It's medical confidentiality, Dr. Peterson said. But honestly, Mrs. Morrison, who the hell cares? You'll be alive. Catherine swallowed hard, her breathing growing more labored, feeling her body shutting down cell by cell. Do it, she finally whispered. Use the blood, but don't make me see her. I don't want thanks. I don't want anything. Don't worry, Dr. Peterson said coldly. She doesn't want your thanks. She doesn't want anything from you. She donated because she's a better person than you will ever be. He left before Catherine could respond. In the recovery room, Catherine was left alone with the decision. The heart monitor showing increasingly irregular beats, blood pressure dropping in red numbers on the display, her body shutting down cell by cell, and for the first time in 42 years of privileged life, Catherine Morrison faced a brutal and uncomfortable truth. Her life, her continued existence, depended entirely on the person she had considered inferior. 20 minutes later, the transfusion began. The nurse connected the blood bag to Catherine's IV. Evelyn's blood began to flow through the transparent tubes, rich red, precious, rare beyond measure. Catherine was unconscious under sedation. She didn't see it, didn't feel the exact moment. But her body reacted immediately. The blood pressure, which had been in free fall, began to stabilize. 50/30, 60/40, 70/50, rising slowly but steadily. Color began to return to her face, which had been pale as wax. A faint pink appearing in her cheeks, in her lips that had been bluish. The heart monitor, which had been irregular, erratic beats, terrifying pauses, began to normalize, the rhythm becoming steadier, stronger. It was working. Evelyn's blood saving Catherine's life, drop by drop, cell by cell, beat by beat. Dr. Peterson watched the monitors with professional satisfaction, but emotional complexity. It was his job to save lives, all lives, without judgment. But he couldn't deny there was a deep, almost poetic irony in what he was witnessing. Lisa stood beside him, also watching, also feeling the weight of the moment. "She'll carry that blood for 4 months," Lisa said softly. 120 days. Every heartbeat she has will be sustained by the blood of someone she despised. "Poetic justice," Dr. Peterson said, "or karma, or just the irony of the universe." Meanwhile, Evelyn was in the staff break room, eating the sandwich Marcus had bought, feeling significantly dizzy after donating blood at her age, after a full shift. Marcus sat beside her, holding the broken pieces of the necklace in the plastic bag. Pendant broken, chain snapped, photo torn, a memory violated but not destroyed. "Grandma," Marcus said, breaking the heavy silence, "can I ask you something?" "Always, baby." "Why did you donate, even after what she did? I don't understand." Evelyn stopped eating, set the sandwich aside, looked at her grandson with eyes carrying decades of wisdom earned through pain. "Marcus, do you remember what your mother used to say about kindness?" "That you had to be kind even when it was hard." "Not just that," Evelyn said. She said something deeper. She said, "Mom, easy kindness doesn't count. Anyone can be good to people who are good to them. That's just reciprocity. But being good to someone who is bad to you? That's real kindness. That's what defines character." "But Grandma, she didn't deserve it," Marcus insisted, with the frustration of a child who saw injustice, but didn't understand its complexity. "You're right," Evelyn agreed. "She didn't deserve it, not at all. But do you know what I realized after 68 years in this world? Kindness isn't about giving people what they deserve. If it were, it would be justice. It would be payment. It would be a transaction." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Real kindness is giving what isn't deserved. It's choosing to be better than the situation. It's doing what's right not because the person deserves it, but because you are the kind of person who does what's right. No matter what. Always." Marcus absorbed that in silence. Then, "And what if she doesn't change? What if she keeps being a terrible person?" "Then that's her problem, not mine," Evelyn said. "I can't control who she is. I can only control who I am. And I won't let her cruelty change my kindness, because then she wins. She turns me into something I'm not." "Mom would think like that," Marcus said. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. "Your mother was like that," Evelyn said with a sad smile. "Even at the end. Even when she was dying. She had a nurse. Do you remember Nurse Patterson?" "The rude one?" "Exactly. She was awful to your mother. Impatient. Rude. Treated Sarah like an inconvenience. And on the last day, do you know what your mother did?" Marcus shook his head. "She left a thank you card with $20 inside. Nurse Patterson opened it and started crying. Came to apologize. And your mother, already so weak she could barely speak, just smiled and said, 'We're all fighting battles others can't see. Just try to remember that with the next person.'" Marcus had tears in his eyes now. Evelyn did too. "I miss her every day," Marcus said. "Me too, baby," Evelyn said, pulling him into a hug. Me too. But she left lessons, and we have to live them. For her. They held each other. Grandmother and grandson, united by the love of a woman who was no longer there, but whose legacy lived on in every difficult choice, in every undeserved act of kindness, in every moment of choosing to be better. 4 hours later, Catherine woke up. She was in a private room now, her friends around the bed, but the atmosphere was different. Cold, tense. None of the warmth and concern that would normally be there. "Welcome back," Jennifer said, but her voice carried ice. "What?" Catherine asked, her voice hoarse. "What happened? Why are you looking at me like that?" "You survived," Amanda said, in a tone that turned survival into an accusation. "The transfusion worked perfectly." The memory came back in waves. Blood needed, tests, rejection, and then the name. Evelyn Washington. "They used her blood?" Catherine asked, already knowing the answer but needing to confirm the horror. "They did," Rebecca said, "because it was the only one that worked. We tested 6 people for you, Catherine. Your 3 best friends, Jennifer's husband, her brother, a college friend who drove 2 hours to donate. 6 people who care about you. And do you know what we found?" Catherine waited. "None of us were compatible. 0. Every sample caused a rejection reaction. But the janitor you humiliated, the one you called dirty, whose precious necklace you destroyed, she was 100% compatible. Perfect." "How do you know all this?" Catherine asked. "Lisa told us," Jennifer said. "Nurse Lisa. She personally tested all the samples. She was shocked when all of ours failed and only Evelyn's worked. Said she had never seen anything like it. As if her blood had been made specifically for you." Catherine stared at the ceiling, trying to process, trying to understand the implications. "How long until my body replaces it?" Catherine asked. "How long until I'm normal again?" The 3 friends exchanged glances. "Why, Catherine?" Amanda asked, her voice hard. "Are you ashamed? Ashamed to have her blood inside you?" "That's not it." "That is exactly it!" Jennifer exploded. "Catherine, you literally said you would rather die than receive her blood. And she donated anyway. What kind of person does that make you? And what kind of saint does that make her?" "And what kind of people does that make us?" Rebecca added, more quietly. "Because we stayed friends with someone like that for years. And we never saw it. Or we saw it and ignored it. I don't know what's worse." The door opened. Dr. Peterson came in with a clipboard and a professional expression that barely hid his judgment. "Mrs. Morrison, welcome back to the land of the living," Dr. Peterson said, with a subtle but unmistakable emphasis on the word living. "The transfusion was a complete success. You're stable. You can be discharged in 2 days if your recovery continues like this." "Doctor," Catherine said, "I need to know. How long until my body naturally replaces her blood?" Dr. Peterson studied her face for a long moment. Then he pulled out a chair and sat down. The gesture was deliberate. What he was about to say deserved to be said at eye level. "Red blood cells," Dr. Peterson began, with the tone of someone giving a medical lesson that was also a moral one, "have a lifespan of approximately 120 days, 4 months. So, for that period, Mrs. Morrison, you will literally have Evelyn Washington's blood circulating inside you. In every vein, in every artery, every beat of your heart will pump her blood. Every breath you take will oxygenate her blood. Every thought you have will be nourished by her blood." Catherine closed her eyes. Horror washed over her. "And after those 120 days, does it go back to normal?" "Not exactly," Dr. Peterson said, and something in his tone made Catherine open her eyes again. "I need to inform you of something important. Under federal law, because of the extreme rarity of Rh null blood, we are required to permanently document any transfusion in the patient's medical record. This will remain in your file forever. Any doctor who treats you in the future will know that you received an Rh null blood transfusion in October 2024. So what? Why does that matter? It matters, Dr. Peterson continued, because the transfusion may have altered your body's antibody profile. If you ever need blood again in the future, surgery, an accident, anything, there is a significant chance that ordinary blood will be rejected. Your body may have developed a specific sensitivity. It may require Rh null again. Catherine was beginning to understand, the horror deepening. You're saying, I'm saying Evelyn Washington not only saved your life today, Dr. Peterson said, with brutal clarity. There is a real possibility that she may be the only person in the entire world who can save you in the future as well. If you ever need blood again, you may need her specifically. Her or the other 41 people on the planet with Rh null. And good luck finding them quickly when you need them. Absolute silence filled the room. So Catherine could barely form the words. I could depend on her for the rest of my life? Exactly, Dr. Peterson confirmed. And frankly, Mrs. Morrison, I truly hope, that you think deeply about the irony of that, about what it means, about who you are and who she is. He paused, then added, Oh, and one more thing I think you should know. Evelyn has worked here for 32 years. She is one of the most dedicated and respected employees we have. She lost her husband, James, to cancer 5 years ago. She lost her only daughter, Sarah, to leukemia 3 years ago, at 35. She is raising her grandson, Marcus, alone, on a janitor's salary that barely pays the bills. And she has a blood type that exists in only 42 people in the entire world. Golden blood. So rare it is considered an international medical treasure. Medical organizations literally track every person with Rh null because they are irreplaceable, life-saving resources. Another heavy silence. And that woman, that human medical treasure, gave you that gift without hesitation, without conditions, without expecting anything in return, even after you destroyed the most precious object she had in this world. The last tangible gift from her dead daughter. She still chose to save your life. Dr. Peterson stood up. So while you recover over the next few days, with her blood keeping you alive, I suggest you think very carefully about who you are, about the choices you've made, about the kind of person you want to be. Because at this moment, the difference between the two of you is glaring. And it is not in your favor. He left. The three friends looked at Catherine, their expressions ranging from pity to disgust to something that looked like sadness. Catherine, Jennifer said finally, her voice tired. I've known you for 15 years. We were college roommates. We were each other's bridesmaids. Our children grew up together. And for the first time in those 15 years, I'm not sure I want to keep knowing you. Jennifer, Catherine began. No, Jennifer cut her off. Let me finish. What I saw today, what you did today, I can't keep pretending it's just you being demanding or having high standards or whatever other excuse we invented. I saw who you really are when you think no one is judging you. And it's ugly, Catherine. It's very, very ugly. I agree, Amanda said, and I don't want my children learning that kind of behavior. I don't want them thinking it's okay to treat people that way. Are you abandoning me? Catherine asked, in disbelief. Now? When I almost died? You almost died and were saved by someone you consider less than human, Rebecca said, her voice hard. And you still can't see the problem in that. You still can't see that your attitude, your prejudice, your cruelty are the problem. So yes, we're leaving, at least until you do some serious soul-searching about who you are. The three of them stood up and walked toward the door. And Catherine? Jennifer stopped at the door. When you manage to get over your pride enough, You owe her a thank you and an apology, not because she expects it, but because you owe it to her, and to yourself, too." They left. Catherine was alone. Completely alone. She looked at the IV still connected to her arm, the clear fluid dripping slowly. But she knew that, a few hours earlier, Evelyn's red blood had flowed through that same tube, entering her body, saving her life, becoming part of her, and it would continue to be part of her for 120 days, 4 whole months, a third of a year, carrying oxygen, feeding cells, keeping her heart beating, keeping her lungs working, keeping her brain thinking. She touched her right wrist with the fingers of her left hand. Felt the pulse. Strong. Steady. Regular. Another person's blood pulsing through her veins. Not just any blood. The blood of someone she had despised, whom she had called dirty, whom she had publicly humiliated, whom she had hurt in the cruelest way possible. And, for the first time in 42 years of a life built on privilege and assumed superiority, Catherine Morrison was forced to confront a truth she had avoided her entire life. She was not better. She was not superior. She was not more valuable. She was only human, flawed, mortal, dependent. And the person who had saved her, the person she had judged as inferior, had proved herself infinitely superior in every way that truly mattered. The tears began to fall. Not tears of self-pity, but something deeper, more painful. The fragile and reluctant beginning of a conscience, of recognition, of real shame. A soft knock at the door broke the moment. "Come in," Catherine said, expecting a nurse. But it wasn't a nurse. It was Evelyn, still in her janitor's uniform, after a 12-hour shift. Still holding the plastic bag with the broken necklace. Marcus right behind her. Catherine froze completely. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process that the woman she had humiliated, whom she had hurt, whose blood now flowed through her veins, was standing there in the doorway. Catherine tried. "What do you want?" "Dr. Peterson asked me to come," Evelyn said, her voice calm, carrying neither anger nor judgment, only neutrality. "He said you should meet your donor in person. It's hospital protocol when rare blood is used." "I didn't ask for this." "I know," Evelyn said, "but the protocol exists for a reason. Transparency, accountability." An uncomfortable silence filled the space between them. Catherine looked at Evelyn, really looked at her. For the first time, she saw not the uniform or the color of her skin, but the person. A 68-year-old woman. Tired. Dignified. Strong in ways Catherine never would be. "Why?" Catherine finally asked, her voice breaking. "Why did you donate, after what I did? I don't understand." Evelyn thought for a moment, choosing her words carefully. "Because my daughter Sarah taught me something important," Evelyn said. "She taught me that kindness is not about giving people what they deserve. If it were, it would just be a transaction. It would be an exchange. Real kindness is choosing to give what is not deserved. It is choosing to be better than the circumstances, better than the way you were treated, better than the person standing in front of you." "I didn't deserve it," Catherine said. "No," Evelyn agreed without hesitation. "You didn't, not at all. But you deserved to live. And I could help. So I helped, not for you, but for me, for the kind of person I choose to be." "I don't know if I can," Catherine began, but her voice broke completely. "I don't know if I can say thank you. Because that means admitting. It means admitting that we are equal," Evelyn finished, "that blood has no color, that life has no hierarchy, that you and I are just human beings, equally fragile, precious, and worthy of living, until the lesson in the blood became a lesson in the heart." Catherine began to cry. Not delicate tears, ugly tears, born of deep shame, of recognizing who she had been, of the crushing weight of 42 years of prejudice and casual cruelty falling on her all at once. "I'm sorry," Catherine said between sobs that shook her whole body. "For the necklace, for the cruelty, for everything. I am a horrible person." "You were human," Evelyn said, neither absolving nor condemning her. "Flawed, cruel, but human. And humans can change, if they choose to." "I don't know if I can change," Catherine admitted, with brutal honesty. 42 years of being this way. I don't know if I can be different." "Then don't make promises," Evelyn said. "Promises are cheap. Actions are what matter. Just try, one day at a time, until you look at me, or the next person like me, and see the person first, not the color, not the job, not the class, the person, the human being, equal." Marcus had been watching the entire exchange. At 12 years old, witnessing the complexity of human nature, of forgiveness, of kindness, of choice. "Come on, baby," Evelyn said to her grandson. "Time to go home." "Evelyn," Catherine called as they turned to leave. "Wait." Evelyn stopped, waited. "The necklace, did you get it fixed?" "Not yet," Evelyn said. "The jeweler said it's going to cost $200. I need to save up. It'll take 2 months." "I'll pay," Catherine said quickly, almost desperately. "For the repairs. It's less than the least I can do." "No," Evelyn said with gentle firmness. "Thank you, but no. I need to fix it myself, with my own work, because then it will mean something. Then it will be mine again, not because of your money, because of my sacrifice." Catherine nodded, understanding in a way she would not have understood just hours earlier. "But there is something you can do," Evelyn added. "Anything." "When you look in the mirror," Evelyn said, "when you touch your pulse and feel the blood flowing, when you breathe and live and exist for the next 120 days with my blood inside you, remember. Remember where it came from. Remember who gave it to you, and let it mean something. Let it change something." "I'll try," Catherine promised. "That's all anyone can do," Evelyn said. She left with Marcus. Catherine was alone again. But this time, the solitude carried a different weight. Not emptiness, but something full of recognition, of shame, of a small seed of the possibility of change. She touched her pulse again. Felt the beat sustained by Evelyn's blood. And she knew with absolute certainty that she would never forget. She could not forget. Because the evidence flowed through every vein, in every beat, in every breath, for 120 days at the very least. And maybe, just maybe, forever. 2 weeks later, Catherine was discharged. Her husband, David, came to pick her up. The children were at home with the nanny, waiting. As they walked down the hallway toward the exit, Catherine saw Evelyn. She was cleaning the floor at the hospital entrance, wearing the familiar blue uniform, with the bucket and mop beside her. And she was wearing the necklace. The necklace had been repaired. The chain had a visible solder line, a slightly different strip of metal marking where it had broken. The pendant was closed, but Catherine knew the photo inside still had the tear. Permanent scars. But it was there. Worn. Valued. Loved. Catherine stopped. "Catherine, let's go," David said, taking her bag. "Wait a moment," Catherine said. She walked over to Evelyn. Marcus was helping his grandmother, pushing the supply cart. "Evelyn," Catherine said. Evelyn turned, looked, waited, without expectation. "The necklace," Catherine said, pointing. "You fixed it. I thought you said it would take 2 months. "I picked up extra hours," Evelyn explained. 3 double shifts. That covered the cost. The jeweler did beautiful work. Soldered the chain. Sealed the pendant. The photo still has the damage, but it's protected now. I'm glad, Catherine said, and realized it was true. Genuinely. And I wanted to say, again, I'm sorry. For everything. Truly. From the bottom of my heart. I know, Evelyn said. Not warmly, but with acknowledgement. And maybe one day I'll believe you. How will I know when you do? You'll know, Evelyn said, when you look at me and your first reaction is to see the person, not the janitor, not the color, the person, the human being, equal. When that happens naturally, without effort, without thinking, then I'll know you've changed. Then I'm sorry will mean something real. Catherine nodded, accepting the truth of that. And if I change? If I really change? Then the world becomes a little better, Evelyn said. One person at a time. That's all we can hope for. Evelyn went back to cleaning. Marcus went back to helping her, both of them returning to the ordinary business of living, working, and existing. Catherine stood watching for another moment. The woman who had saved her, who had given a treasure, who had chosen kindness where revenge would have been justified and understandable. Catherine, let's go, David insisted now. In the car, Catherine stayed quiet, looking out the window as Atlanta passed by, a city she had known her whole life, but that suddenly seemed different, more complex, more full of people she had ignored, people she had made invisible. Are you okay? David asked, concerned. You're very quiet. No, Catherine admitted. I'm not okay. But maybe, with time, with 120 days of carrying this lesson in my blood, I might be. David didn't understand. He didn't ask. He just drove. But Catherine knew. 120 days, 4 months, the time Evelyn's blood would circulate through her body, keeping her alive, carrying oxygen, feeding cells, pumping through her heart with every beat. A living lesson. Circulating. Inescapable. And maybe, just maybe, 120 days would be enough time. Enough time to learn what 42 years had failed to teach her. That blood has no color, only a function, to save life. That dignity has no price. It cannot be bought or sold, only demonstrated. That kindness does not need a reason or a reward. Only the choice to be better. And that sometimes the person who saves us is exactly the one we least deserved. But saves us anyway, not because we are worthy, but because she is. And if you made it this far in the video, comment heroine so I can leave you a lovely heart. Share this to remind people that everyone deserves respect, and leave a like to support our work. Subscribe so you can always receive more stories like this.